Yo, 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 what is up? This is the Quazemoto Show. I'm your host, Quaz. Joining me tonight, and on most nights, is D. D, what's going on?
Nothing much, Quaz, man. What's happening with you?
Chilling, man. Doing another show. We got lots to discuss, lots going on, and let's just get right into it. Let's talk about it, man. Terrorist attacks out in San Bernardino, California. Now, from what I know, and you might have a little bit more details, a little bit more info, insight, whatever, we had a pretty young husband, pretty young wife, and a 6-month-old baby. They woke up one morning, they drop off their 6-month-old to the husband's brother's house. Husband and wife are strapped. Guns, IEDs. Well, I don't know if they had IEDs with them, but they found them later. And they go to the husband's place of work, and they open fire. Now, the reports are saying that this was terrorist motivated, that the husband, he became radicalized by, he was heavily influenced by ISIS and radical Islam, terrorist Islam. And that's what prompted him and to his wife to carry out the attacks the way they did. All right? Terrible thing would happen, you know. It sucks that it happened, because again, I'm a Muslim. Makes bad light on all Muslims everywhere that this happened. Coming right off the heels of the French terrorist attacks not a month ago. And now this is happening. And there are intel reports saying we can expect more of this. Terrible, terrible thing that happened. D? What's going on in the world, man?
Oh, I'll tell you, man. That woman, man, that he was with, man, it seems like she radicalized him. This looks like, from the reports from today, they're saying that she is the one, the real leader.
She was the leader? Whoa, so she was radicalized and she was influencing her husband to do this.
It looked like it was a setup.
Wow.
It looked like he may have been used as a patsy.
As a patsy. So someone else was pulling the strings on them too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can say ISIS. You can say people in America were influencing them, telling them, you gotta do that. I wonder if they were blackmailed into doing that. Because that's some of the reports, not the mainstream media, but some of the other reports I've been reading. They might have been coerced, they might have been blackmailed, whatnot into doing it. Because a young couple with a 6-month-old don't just drop off their kid and go blow up a place like the way they did.
It sounds like the reports today were saying that she had connections.
Mm-hmm.
And her connections were basically with ISIS.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
They got married in Saudi Arabia.
Uh-huh. So they probably had some peoples out in Saudi Arabia that they spoke to, hung out with, and whatnot. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's terrible. It's terrible all around. There's no good that comes out of this. No good. You know?
It does a lot. It makes you think.
No, man.
I'm walking out the house now, man, looking around.
Yeah. You see a guy like me walking down the street, everybody's thinking twice. What's that dude gonna do?
You're the new black guy.
I'm the new nigger in America.
Yeah, you're the nigger.
You know?
You're the nigger.
I'm gonna get pulled over before you.
You better believe it. I'm the white guy now. I'm the white guy.
I'm not making light of it, because think about it. ISIS, Al Qaeda, Taliban, they are like radical Islam, much like Ku Klux Klan is in Christianity, radical Christianity, right? The majority of Christians are good Christians, God-fearing Christians, Jesus-loving Christians. Not everyone's a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Same thing goes for Islam. Small percentage of Muslims are radical Islamists that go around yalla, 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 and, wanting to, stir shit up. And that gives a bad name for everyone else, every other Muslim. So, me as a Muslim living in America who has a wife and kids, my number one priority is safety for my wife and kids. Don't you think my kids are going to get looked at, differently at school? They're going to get picked on, they get bullied, they're going to get harassed. Not just by the kids, by the teachers.
Yeah.
My wife has to go through the same crap at work. I have to go through that crap at work. Everyone looks at me, with the evil eye. What's that dude going to do?
Yeah. You got me looking out. I'm on the phone with you, man. I'm like kind of scared.
Well, the show's already tagged by NSA. It's already tagged. It's tagged by NSA. They're listening to every show. They're like, what's that crazy terrorist going to do next?
Yeah. But that already has a real side.
Man, I don't know, dude. It's like the anti-Muslim sentiment is really growing strong in this country. I mean, not only do you have Republicans stirring the pot, that's small stuff, right? Ben Carson, Donald Trump, they can stir the pot. But when you have incidents like this on the homeland, it really makes things critical. It really makes things very sensitive. And I have to tread water, just like every other Muslim has to tread water very gently, when we go about our business.
You are a nigger. You are now officially a nigger.
Yeah. Well, like the new Negro, Like,
no, it's nigger. Negro is with respect. Nigger.
Oh yeah, that's with hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, bro. It's tough.
They don't want you in the neighborhood.
No, they don't. And it's tough, because you see it. You know how you, as a black man, you see the evil eye casted your way, right?
Hey, like Donald Trump said, man, we gotta get you guys out of here.
Yeah. I mean, even in my neighborhood, my community, my area that I live in, mostly white neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
I go out and about, people, evil eye. I go to the Walmart, evil eye.
Oh, really?
I just hope they don't round us up and put us into camp soon, like they did to the Japanese after Pearl Harbor.
I got bad news.
What's that?
I heard they're gonna do that.
No.
Donald Trump is talking it. He's talking it.
Who's saying that?
Donald Trump. He's gonna round it. He's gonna round all of you up.
Trump's a crackhead. And he doesn't have nothing right now. All he's doing is running and talking. All he's doing is running and talking. He has no juice.
Yeah.
If he becomes elected, then I'll be scared.
Yeah. You better get out of town.
I'm getting out of the country. What are you talking about out of town? I'm getting out of the country.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that for my sake. I say for most everybody that's not white. Get out the country.
I'm going to Canada.
Yeah, at least the Canadians, they're more tolerant,
Yeah, I'm in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go to Mexico. I don't see me going that way.
Yeah, Mexico's more warmer. I'd rather go to Mexico.
I don't know, man. Mexico's kind of creepy.
Well, Mexico's the Wild West down there, man.
Yeah.
You run around and talk shit down there, you're gonna get your head lopped off.
Yeah, man.
You know, it ain't no place to raise a family, that's for sure.
Hey, man, when they start putting the water fountains out, you guys have your own water fountain. Don't forget now.
I don't know, man. That whole shit's crazy. I just hope cooler heads prevail before some, crazy Republicans, gather around and come up with a plan to. This is the solution for the Muslim problem in America. If that sounds familiar, that was Hitler's thing also. The Nazi solution to the Jewish problem in Germany.
Yeah, yeah, just like it. That's what it is, man. They're trying to extinct. They're trying to extinct. It's you guys to be extinct.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Gotta tread water lightly, man. Gotta tread water lightly. All I know is all the black folks, all the Mexicans, all the Koreans, they're just like, thank God for the Muslims because the heat is off of us right now.
The heat's off of us now, baby. I put it the white man now.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Oh, man. What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? Like Thanksgiving weekend, when, that shooter opened fire at the abortion clinic, when I first clicked on CNN, I was like, don't let this be a terrorist attack. And I was almost relieved when I found out it was anti-abortionist who went crazy, right?
Yeah.
I was like, woo, dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Right?
KKK.
Yeah, and now this week, San Bernardino, just a couple of days ago, yesterday or the day before, I'm like, please don't let it be a terrorist attack. Please don't say Muslim terrorist attack, ISIS or whatnot. But sure enough, I'm like, God damn,
Well, it looks like you Muslims and you KKKs are trying to outdo one or the other.
Yeah. Oh man, these radical religion freaks, man. They're the ones you have to be scared of, man.
Yeah, man.
These radicals, they're like, white power, and then,
No,
white power.
White power. White power, you mean?
As Dave Chappelle famously said. Yeah. Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. I was like,
they're fucking cowards.
They are, man. They are. I mean, that's like a hunter shooting a mountain lion from like 200 feet out.
Yeah.
That's the coward's way out of doing things.
Yeah. You want to hurt innocent people that don't have a gun. You want to hurt people that don't have a gun.
Innocent people getting shot off, by some crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go somewhere and you want to shoot at some people and you want to get shot back at?
Well, you saw what happened when that one Muslim terrorist, he tried to take out, he started shooting. He was in the military, he was in the army. I think this was in Texas. He started shooting on a military base. That dude didn't get far. He got mowed down quick.
Right.
No,
he didn't get far.
You know what I would do? I'd be like, I'd go, I'm always in the promoting thing. I'm always in a way of like, how can I make money off of this thing, right? I would go to the ISIS dudes in Syria. I'll be like, give me your best ISIS fighter, right? And then we'll take them to a neutral site, like Rio de Janeiro. One thing's for sure, I have another point to make, but I'm going to stick with this point. Another point just came to my head. Take your best ISIS fighter. Give me your best American fighter. Put them in the octagon. Let them settle it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If ISIS thinks they're really tough, they're really bad, put them in the octagon against America's best fighter, and then you got bragging rights. You see, we kicked the American's ass. American no good. We kick his ass. Wouldn't that be bragging rights?
I don't think an ISIS fighter would stand a chance. It's radical in its nasty as they are. I don't think they would stand a freaking chance.
If they put him in with the Navy SEAL, no chance, right? Navy SEAL will kick his ass in a heartbeat. But you give him 8 months to train with Chuck Liddell, you might have a chance. You give that ISIS fighter time to train with Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, or any one of those MMA guys, he might have a chance. But it'd be great, right? It'd be great TV. I'd watch it. Tell me who wouldn't buy that pay-per-view. ISIS against America in the octagon.
I'll tell you this right here.
Why isn't Dana White on this? Dana White should be in Syria right now.
Let me tell you something. I'll tell you right now, man. These guns, listen, man. They searched the guy's house, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he had like a ammunition dump.
Yeah. In his garage, from what I read. They were strapped, for sure. They were strapped, and they were ready to do it. They were like, once we take out the workplace, we're going to head back, we're going to load up again, we're going to go blow up more shit. I was like, wow.
They're explosives?
Yeah.
Now, where did they get this stuff?
IEDs. Improvised explosive devices. The ISIS dudes, they tell them how to make it just from stuff off the shelf.
Okay, now, where did you get the guns?
That was purchased, if I'm not correct, don't quote me on it, a friend of a friend of a friend got them the weapons. I think he purchased a couple himself, because they're saying, CNN was saying, they had reports, he did go to the gun shop, he provided his ID and everything. He didn't have any criminal background or nothing, his record came back clean, so he was able to purchase some guns, but not the mass quantities that he had stocked up. Friends of friends and, ISIS friends hooked him up.
Wow. Right up under our nose.
Here's my other solution, D. If we don't have the UFC pay-per-view, like ISIS's best guy going up against a Navy SEAL, which I think would be awesome, hands down. I'd pay to see that. That's like right up there with Mayweather Pacquiao, right? I would put $90 to see that. But the other thing, I'm going to take Howard Stern's advice. His advice on the terrorist solution, see, it's like, those terrorists over there, they're so repressed. They got so much built up inside them. They got no real positive release, right? Reason being is they have very limited access to, say, like internet and stuff. If you just let those fundamentalist guys have access to porn over there, they wouldn't have no problems. All their frustration be gone. They can just watch porn all day, masturbate to it. They wouldn't even worry about what the next attack's going to be. They're so frustrated over there. They're so pent up. Like, you need a little positive release. Get it out. Give them some weed. Give them some porn. They'll be good. They won't be so angry anymore.
Okay, Quaz. I don't like the way this is going, man.
I mean, doesn't weed make everyone happy?
I like the way it's going.
Give them some weed.
Something looks kind of creepy about this now.
Give them some weed, give them some porn, give them some hookers. You'll solve the ISIS problem real quick.
Yeah, but this, I think it's deeper now, man. I think the ideology is deeper.
The ideology is what's fucking it up. Because just like any religion, you have one dude who reads the Bible, who reads the Quran, who reads the Torah, and he paraphrases what it actually says for his or her intent. You see, the Quran says Allah wants you to kill. No, he doesn't. But that's how they interpret it, and that's how they brainwash a lot of people. And they also not know, do they bring up religious, things to point out that how they're being repressed. So look at our Muslim brothers and sisters throughout the world that are being tortured and killed every day by the white devil. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Iran. Look at, Iraq. Look at Syria. Look what the white devil's doing to us.
I just don't like the way this is going. It's just the brother was showing his picture. Okay, we know what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Now it looks like she looks like a terrorist superstar.
I haven't seen the picture of the girl yet.
It's like she's going to become a martyr.
Is she hot? Or
what? The martyr should have her innocent face.
Mm-hmm.
The more radical superstar she becomes.
She becomes a martyr.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what ISIS wanted. I think that was one of their targets.
I think it was planned like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't like this. I smell that.
Yeah. I think they were put up. Might have been coerced, might have been blackmailed, they might have been put up to do it by ISIS. They'd be like, look, if we don't, they might have said something to the effect, look, if you don't do it, we're going to cut your balls off. You don't do it, we're going to kill your wife. You don't do it, we're going to... They probably had their son, their 6-month-old son kidnapped. Something. Because a normal husband and wife with a 6-month-old, their first baby, do not do something like that.
It's time to do it. You guys better do it now.
Yeah. They might have been set up. My wife was talking about the same thing. She's like, I don't understand why they would do it. Something had to make them do that. Keyword, make them do that. It's not under the name of Allah and terrorism and ISIS and whatnot. No, there's more to it.
I think our government knows. I think I think by now they know.
Yeah. And if our government's smart, if they have any sympathy for the husband and wife, and even for the general Muslim and American population, they would say, this is what really happened. They were coerced, they were blackmailed, they were forced to do this. But they might be fanning the fire themselves. It might not be ISIS. D? Do you hear what I'm saying? It might not have been ISIS. It's a possibility, right?
Just like I smell that, man. I don't know what it is, man. This taste in my mouth with this one was different. This is like the beginning of something new.
Right. How do you sway the public's opinion? Right? How do you get the public on your side? Right? How do you get the public to go into war with you? Through a terrorist act. We've seen it before, right? 9/11, Pearl Harbor, JFK. To have justification to go into a war without opposition. I might be reaching, but I've seen it happen in the past. This might be just a stepping stone. It might be just a stage to something more. Justification for a greater evil. And look what happened in San Bernardino. Do you want that happening to you again?
Right.
I don't know. It's way above our pay grade, D. Me and you are just two, knuckleheads who do a podcast. But if we're looking for answers, we got to look at every possibility. Right? We got to look at every possibility. So, I don't know.
I agree. And I think
telling, man? Who are you telling? Look at not just the terrorist attacks or acts or whatnot. Look at how many incidents we've had with gun control issue. You know? The shooting in the elementary school, the abortion clinic just on Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, in the last 5, 10 years, we've had major issues where people who had access to guns go crazy. Virginia Tech shooting. I mean, there's countless of them. Countless numbers of them. When are we going to come to our senses and say we have got to control this gun issue? It's crazy. It's getting out of hand. We got to stop it. No more guns. I don't care what the Constitution says.
The worst amendments they ever made.
And this was made 220, 30 years ago by a bunch of white dudes smoking weed in a room. You know what? We should also throw in right to bear arms. Fuck it, why not? Sounds good to me, George. What do you think, Ben? Sign off on it, Hamilton. You know? That was a different time and age where you kind of had to defend yourself back then, right? We really didn't have a good military, a good police to come protect us all the time like we do now.
Yeah, we wear wigs and we wear tights.
Yeah. Powdered wigs. I don't know where they got that from, man. They smoke too much weed, man. Be like, hey, George, try this powdered wig on, man. It'd be cool.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Powdered wigs, wooden teeth, you know, stockings.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This dude had stockings. Dude, they must have been smoking good shit, man.
It sounds like some real stuff, man.
They grew that in their backyards. Mount Vernon, you know, Charlottesville, where Thomas Jefferson, he was notorious for smoking weed and banging black chicks. That's what he loved. You know? But this gun control issue is totally out of control. And Obama, to his credit, he's been fighting it the best he can. Only thing that stops him every time is that amendment, right to bear arms. You literally have to have a miracle to overturn that amendment. And the NRA and the pro-gun advocates, they got a lot of support. You know, a lot of support, a lot of juice to keep their amendment there. I don't know. You're a voting age man, D. Do you support right to bear arms?
I used to, but now I'm having second thoughts. Quaz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like we got guns now. They're like they're in bad people's hands.
Yeah, crazy people. Terrorists, anti-abortionists, Ku Klux Klan, psychos, you know, disturbed teenagers who were playing too many video games and think it'd be cool to do this in real life.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, what do we do now? Is it too late?
Dude, how comfortable are you going to the store these days? Knowing that anyone, any crazy motherfucker who just got pissed off, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and just decided, fuck it. I'm going to go to that Walmart. I'm just going to shoot everybody there. That's the reality we live in. I'm going to go to the mall, and I'm going to shoot every motherfucker there.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to pay it safe and go to the movies.
I don't go to the movies anymore, man. No. If you're going to the movies and you see some dude in a long trench coat and a backpack going into the same theater with you, make a U-turn. Make a U-turn, go the other way. Who cares about the 16, 20 bucks you just spent on a ticket? You want to live? Turn around, walk the other way. Because that crazy dude with the long trench coat and a backpack, going in there by himself, it can only mean bad things. Only mean bad things. So just, nah, not worth it. I can see Star Wars when it comes out on DVD. I'll wait for it to come on DVD. Don't need to go. Think about it. Even if people decide I'm going to go to the basketball game, I want to go see the Wizards play. You know, I want to go see Kelby's last game. There's a real possibility some dude's going to blow up the Verizon Center. That's the world we live in right now. You know?
Yeah, that's terrible, man. That's terrible. You know, I was telling somebody the other day. I said, hey, I remember when I was young. I was a young 5, 6-year-old, and I remember being afraid of white people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see these images of white people, and it made me feel inferior.
Right.
And I was told that through the media and through textbooks and through all kind of writings and school projects that they were great.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we do, they created it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right from Jesus Christ to the $50 bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is we were told to stay in our place by these same people.
Now let me just put a time period on this. This was what, 70s, late 60s?
This was like 68.
Okay.
69. 70.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm like a little boy, and I'm just following the rules.
Right.
I'm a black kid. I'm a little black kid. Wait a minute. I don't have it like the Brady Bunch. I don't have it like the Partridge Family.
Uh-huh.
Something different about that.
Something is different about that. Yeah, what you see on TV is not what we have in reality. I was the same boat. Like, wait a minute. Man, they got it good on the Brady Bunch, man. Got a big old house, we got a car, got a backyard.
They made poor black people want to be like that.
Yeah. Oh,
that
green
was
town.
That was the bar.
Yeah.
If you're not like the Brady Bunch,
yeah.
you're nothing.
I wish I was on the Brady Bunch, man. I want to live like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, I want to live with my poor grandmother and my poor cousins and my poor brother. They're poor. I want to be with the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. I want to hang out with Marsha and whatnot.
So my point is, we were conditioned to feel inferior. Fast forward 20 years later,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not afraid of the man no more.
Right.
I'm not afraid of the Ku Klux Klan. I'm not afraid of the white man.
Right.
I feel pretty good about myself.
Uh-huh. But
20 years later.
Mm-hmm. But
oh yeah, there is a but.
Hope it's a big butt.
Yeah, it's a big butt.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Now I'm afraid of my own people.
Mm.
Because there's gunfire flying everywhere, every night. From my own people.
Right.
Black on black, baby.
Black on black crime, yeah.
So I went from being afraid of the Klan to being afraid of my own brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's domestic. It has nothing to do with terrorism.
Well, it's terror. You know, the root word, it's terror. It's terror by itself. You know, be it black on black crime, be it domestic terrorism, be it terrorism in a general, it's terror. You're being terrorized in one way or another, right? Be it terrorism from a white person, terrorism from a black person. You're afraid because someone is putting that fear into you. You're being terrorized, plain and simple. And it's a shame. You know? Who's to blame, though, for the situation that we are in?
Well, I think, like I say, the system that was set up with those same guys that wore those wigs
Mm-hmm.
and tights.
System's rigged, for sure. System is absolutely rigged.
Now, today, I was on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and
You're trying to get another date?
well, I was on Facebook, and you know, you see people on there, and they make comments.
Uh-huh.
And I saw a post by somebody, I don't even know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from out west, Illinois. I looked them up. They
Yeah.
were from a freaking tiny town, New York, tiny town.
Some podunk town in Illinois.
Yeah. Some redneck.
Yeah.
And it has on his site a big picture of Al Sharpton,
Uh-huh.
and snowflakes are falling.
Mm-hmm.
And the headline says something about the snow being white and Al Sharpton thinking that's racist because the snow is white.
Right. Why the snow got to be white?
Yeah.
Right.
So I took offense to that
Uh-huh.
because they take offense when you bring their ass up for charges. So I thought I would give them a little taste of their own medicine.
All right. What'd you do?
So I says to him, why does Al have to be a racist because he's fighting for justice?
Mm-hmm.
Why he gotta be a racist? Well, they answered me back, yeah, because he's always talking about white people.
White power.
Yeah. So I hit him back and I said, yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Well,
Then they hit me back and they said, you're a racist too. I said, hey, I'm joining the club now.
You were being nice, D. I'll just put it that way.
Back and forth.
You were being nice to him.
We went back and forth. I went political on him. I just went straight. I didn't go hood on him.
I mean, when he made the comment, "You're being racist too," I would have been, wait a minute. I believe myself and my race has earned the right to be angry after 400 years of having a knee on our backs by the white man. I'd be angry too.
I think I said back to him, I guess you think that Obama is a Muslim too or something. I can't kind of lose. I don't think we had nothing left after that.
Right. But yo, I'm going to try and segue into another issue that's been brought to my attention. There's a bigger enemy that all of humankind has to deal with. And if we don't deal with it pretty quickly, we're going to be affected by it. Each and every one of us. And it's not going to discriminate. It'll go after white, black, rich, poor, South America to Russia. It's not going to discriminate. This new problem that keeps growing every single day is getting worse and worse. And it could end up killing a lot of humans. Maybe not extinction, but from what I saw and read on the website, damn near close to it. Any guess to what I'm talking about? This new killer.
Well, you're either talking about a disease, or you're talking about the killer dog that almost ran into today. It almost bit my dog.
Yeah, the rabid dog. These rabid dogs are getting out of control, man. You gotta watch them. They bite your nuts off. Or
you're talking about climate change.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Number 3 is correct, sir. Climate change. Now, I watched this show on Discovery Channel. It got a lot of hype, a lot of press. CNN had reports on it. A lot of the newspapers and radio shows talked about it, called race extinction. Think about that word, race extinction. Right? Now, the gist of the show was, due to all the pollutions that mankind is doing, not just America, not just China, not just Russia, not just everybody that's polluting the earth. Because, think about it. When you're riding in a car, when the trains are running, buses are running, anything's doing, CO2 is being emitted into the air. That's literally toxic gas being released into the air. What we're slowly doing is we're killing our livelihood, our right to live on this earth. What that means is the earth and the air is getting to a near toxic level that's going to become unbreathable soon. Now, when you say soon, you ask me, well, how soon is soon, Quaz? That's a good question. According to the scientists, climatologists, oceanographers and whatnot, these are very smart guys and girls, know what they're talking about. They've studied this shit for years. And they're like, if mankind doesn't change his ways, his habits, his whatever, they're giving us a 4-year window. A 4-year window to the point where if we don't do something drastically different from what we're doing right now, the air is going to become toxic. And it's going to start killing people. The water we drink right now is sewage water right now. That's slowly killing us. It's on acidic levels that's unheard of. That's the water, though. That's a slow killer. The fast killer is going to be the air soon. The air that we currently breathe is going to become to the point we can't breathe it anymore, or else it's going to kill us. People are going to go underground.
Mm-hmm. What in the world is killing the bees?
In a nutshell, climate change. Because when you have an environment that becomes uninhabitable to a species, what does a species do? They either leave or they die. Now think about it this way. Climate change, negative effects, positive effects, right? Negative effects are tons and innumerous, too many to count, right? Planktons are dying, Icebergs are melting. Land that's below sea level is becoming inhabitable. You can't live on it anymore. Places like Bangladesh, Vietnam, Florida, whatnot. They're becoming, you can't live there anymore because there's water now. Ice is melting into the oceans. Water levels are rising. Right?
Alaska, too.
Well, Alaska is having the opposite effect. The ice is melting. That's opening up Alaska, the northern part of Canada. Ice is melting, making land livable. New vegetations are growing. New vegetation means migration. You're talking about, the snow-haired rabbits and the moose, where usually, like 50 years ago, even 15, 30 years ago, they couldn't live in parts of Alaska and northern Canada because it was frozen. But thanks to one of the positive effects of climate change, the melting of this land is now becoming livable. Animals are living there. And I wrote a paper on this for my biology class. If we as nations do not come to an accord, a peaceful accord, saying, okay, yes, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Kenya, Zaire, Florida, whatnot, you can't live there anymore because you're underwater. Come live in Alaska. We got land. It's becoming livable. Come live here. If we don't do it peacefully, it's going to happen by force. By force means people are just saying, hey, you got land. I need somewhere to live. I'm going to go there. Stop me if you can. The world is going to become a boiling point to the point where people. We talked about this in the past. What does a man do when he's pushed into a corner? Fight or flee? If we don't do it peacefully, people are going to start fighting for their right to live. That's what's going to happen. No place to live, no air to breathe. What do? We don't do it now, something drastic, it's going to get to the point. And, bro, we better get that boat and head out to the ocean. Because people are going to come fight for what you and I already have. They'll be like, hey, Washington, D.C. is still livable. West Virginia is not livable anymore. I'm going to go to D.C. People are going to come and say, I'm going to live here. I'm going to set up my camper in front of your yard. That's when you have. That's what the negative effect of climate. What was the term I used on my paper? Climate refugees, displaced. Climate change displaced refugees. That was the term I used on my paper. Anyway, right? Where these people, where their home, their land, and whatnot, they can't live on it there anymore. And it's going to happen more often. They're going to have to live somewhere. People from Asia are going to have to migrate to Europe or Russia. People from South America are going to have to go to Central or North America. What are we going to do?
Well, they've been doing that for like the last 10,000 years.
Well, yeah. They've done it peacefully, and they've done it by force. If we learn anything from our history, what's past is prologue. People are going to do it peacefully, sure, initially. Yeah, French will be like, yeah, come on over here, you Bangladeshians. Come on over here, you Vietnamese. You live with us, right? But when you have overcrowding of a place, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to close their borders. What's America going to do when everyone from South America, Central America, and Mexico, not just illegal immigration, they just don't have anywhere to live. And they're like, hey, you got land in America. I need to live there. I don't care if you give me a shithole in the Grand Canyon, as long as I can stay there. The other more important and more fearful thing, our air is going to become inbreathable. We will not be able to breathe it. When you see those clips of people in China and they have those surgical masks on there, they have that for a reason. China's air is becoming unbreathable. I was there 2008. You can see the smog. Right now it's at such a level that you cannot go out in Beijing without covering your mouth, your nose and your mouth. Or else the air that you breathe in, you're going to be doing the pretty soon. Coughing. There are already cases of people dying because of the air pollution in Beijing. And that's slowly going to happen over here. Well, not even here, throughout the world. Because this killer, this air pollutant, this carbon monoxide and methane gases that are constantly being released into the air that we breathe, they go all around the world. They don't discriminate. They don't stop just because, hey, you're America, your rules are different. No. Gases are going to go where gases want to go.
Well, you know, I also look at it as this is still what they call it, the mini ice age.
Yes. And that show, Race Extinction, hit on exactly that theory. The dinosaurs. Why did every single frickin' dinosaur go extinct? Most theories have a meteor hitting Mexico, hitting Australia, hitting wherever. One meteor cannot kill out the entire population. Every single frickin' dinosaur got killed off. No. It was methane gas released from the earth. It was done by force last time. Meteor hit it, causing great cracks in the earth, causing this methane gas to be released. And that killed off the dinosaurs. Because of the carbon monoxide and the air pollutions and the climate change and the total, all the shitty things that humans are doing to the planet Earth right now, methane gas, because the ice is freezing, a lot of the methane gas is stored up north, northern Canada, even in the south. Ice is melting. This methane gas is slowly releasing more and more and more each day. And we are breathing it each day. It's going to get to the point where methane gas is what we will be breathing 90% of on a daily basis. And that's a killer. That will kill you. If you breathe methane gas more than 5 minutes, if you're exposed, like say a gas chamber, right? They release methane, you're in a box, they release methane gas. You can't live, if it's filled up 100%, you can't last more than 2 minutes in that room.
No, you can't.
And that gas is slowly being released more and more and more each day. And we're not doing shit about it. We're going to be breathing that soon. We're going to be breathing it, and you're going to hear more cases of people dying because of the toxic air that they're breathing. It's going to be the new extinction, and after that, the new ice age. Because like after man is knocked off the earth and no more gases are being released, Earth finds a way to continue by itself. Earth is going to be okay. Because the Earth is like, you guys are fucking me up. I need to get rid of y'all. We need to start ground zero again with the Earth. And those who survive will inherit the Earth.
Well, the Earth is really, it's been through a lot.
Yeah.
It's been through, this is actually the second Earth, if you really want to get technical.
Uh-huh.
This Earth has been hit before, and it had to start all over again.
Yeah. The Earth kind of resets itself after every so often when things get fucked up.
Something hit it, though. I think something hit it. That's where the moon comes in.
Mm-hmm.
The moon was a part of what the Earth used to be.
What the Earth used to be.
It's a piece of Earth that used to be.
Interesting.
The Earth was hit.
Are you talking about I think we talked about this before, the theory of how life really got started on Earth, right? Because the Earth is like, 3 billion, 4 billion years old or something? 5 billion.
There's actually something hit the Earth.
Yeah.
In its first stages.
Well, what this is a theory that scientists have, and it's been discussed throughout the scientific community. It's called the panspermia theory, where how you have the Big Bang theory, and you have the religious theory, God created the earth in 7 days and whatnot, Adam, Eve, Exodus, all and whatnot, shit, right? This scientific theory is based on the fact that Earth was dormant when it was initially, before life, before the dinosaurs, before anything happened on Earth, it was dormant. It was a dead rock, right? So this comet comes, boom, slams into the Earth. Nothing new. Meteors hit the Earth before. Meteors have hit the Earth afterwards. But what this comet did, combined with just the right ingredients on Earth, combined with just the right ingredients with this comet, spawned life, spawned water, spawned microorganisms that eventually led to the Earth evolving to life. Be it microorganisms at first, planktons, fish, eventually dinosaurs. Then that reset, but then you had the Ice Age, and then you had humankind evolving from initially microorganisms, frogs, tadpoles, chimpanzees, turtles, humans, in the shape of early cavemen and whatnot, to what we have now.
But I think I read
Plausible?
This was the explosion that I'm talking about. It was actually a bigger object than a comet.
Okay. Wow. Half the size of the Earth?
Say again?
This object, how big was it? Half the size of Earth or bigger?
Yeah, I think it was like half the size of Earth. It was so big.
Right.
That when it crashed into Earth, it kind of ricocheted.
Uh-huh.
And it became the moon.
Ah, interesting. So you're saying in this object that crashed and ricocheted and became the moon, that in turn, along with, combined with the moons and the sun and whatnot, caused life to start.
It took a chunk off the moon. Well, it took a chunk off of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a chunk off of it, and it created the moon.
Right. Interesting.
So, yeah. So it was more like it was an alteration.
Uh-huh.
And both needed the other.
Right.
If it wasn't for the moon, we wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for that hit, that land, that collision, we wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. I totally buy it. Just like the panspermia theory, this theory is totally plausible. I buy it. As opposed to, Big Bang or, God creating Earth in 7 days. It's totally plausible. Scientific based, I buy it. Why not? All right, hey, let's get to more important things, right? Forget this terrorist bullshit and, humankind eventually being wiped off the earth. Let's get to the things that really matter. Who you got in the Final Four of college football?
So, man, I'm sticking to my guns, man. I can tell you. Clemson's number one. Clemson's going to beat North Carolina tomorrow. They're going to remain the number one team in the nation.
I like North Carolina.
They're going to get a BC bid, automatic bid.
Michigan State?
Right behind them, you're going to have Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma is the second best team in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the close third. Now, you're going to get a close third now with Alabama.
Alabama's the third best. Or fourth.
Alabama is the third best, possibly second best.
A lot of people would say Alabama's number one right now.
Hey, listen.
If Clemson gets knocked off,
Alabama lost, though.
Dude, you know what?
They lost, man.
I'm pulling for UNC, North Carolina, to get the upset over Clemson. But you know what? Eventually, if not this weekend, next weekend, Clemson's going to lose. if UNC doesn't expose them as the fraud they are, when they go up against a Michigan State or an Oklahoma, those two teams are just going to whoop them. I know this. Clemson's a fraud. I don't believe in them, and I hope UNC whoops on them. But then again, if UNC whoops on them, do you think UNC gets in? Or a more deserving Stanford team gets in?
UNC gets in.
Just because?
And Clemson doesn't get in at all.
Oh, of course not.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah. Basically, we have play-in games this weekend. Michigan State, Iowa. Whoever wins gets a playoff spot. Clemson, North Carolina. Whoever wins most likely gets a playoff spot.
Right.
Alabama, they have to win if they want to keep their playoff spot. Right? And then Oklahoma, I mean, they don't have a championship game, but, I think Oklahoma's the only automatic. They don't have to do anything. They just have to. Yeah. I don't even think they're playing next week or tomorrow.
I don't think so.
I think they're the only automatic. Yeah. But I got Clemson losing to UNC. I got Alabama beating the Gators. I got Michigan State beating Iowa. And I got Oklahoma. Now, Clemson losing to UNC doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't automatically mean UNC gets the bid. I think it'll go to a more deserving Stanford, or the voters might just say give it to Ohio State. You know?
Are you freaking kidding me?
I'm not saying I support Ohio State. I'm just thinking that's how that board thinks.
Ohio State has been exposed.
True, I agree. But what happened last year? Right? Ohio State had a one loss. In their final game in the Big Ten Championship, they played a Nebraska team, right? I think they played Wisconsin and just destroyed Wisconsin in the championship game, right? Last impressions is what counts. Iowa State's going to go out there. No, I don't think they even have a game. What they're thinking is, they're going to think UNC's not deserving. Clemson's out. UNC is not deserving. Who's next? They choose between Stanford, Ohio State, because those are the next two teams up. Who would you pick? I'd go with Stanford. But the board of commissioners, they're gonna hose job everyone except Ohio State and give it to them.
I go to Michigan State.
Well, they're gonna get in. Michigan State's gonna get in, regardless. They're gonna trounce Iowa tomorrow. They're gonna get in.
Yeah.
But it's Clemson losing to UNC. Clemson loses, they're out. UNC is not deserving, so you have one spot left. Michigan State's in, Alabama's in, Oklahoma's in. Who's next? Stanford, Ohio State. Who do you got?
Iowa State.
Nah. Not if they lose to Michigan State. I mean, you lose and you're awarded a spot? No. Nah. Maybe only if Barry Alvarez, who's former coach of Wisconsin and a Big Ten guy, only if he really pushes his weight around, and he has a lot of weight, he pushes his weight around and say, I want two of my conference teams in there, Michigan State and Iowa. I don't care if Iowa just got lost to Michigan State. It's not going to be Iowa. If Michigan State beats Iowa, Iowa's not going to get a spot if Clemson loses. It's going to go to either Stanford or Ohio State. My money's on Stanford, but you never know what those dudes are thinking. But then again, if my Florida Gators beat Alabama, I think Florida's definitely deserving of a spot.
You've got to be smoking.
Maybe a little bit. But think about it. SEC championship game, Florida Gators just upset Alabama. Either you put the Gators in or you have no SEC team in the playoffs. What's the bigger travesty?
Good question.
But In all honesty, Clemson's going to beat UNC, but then they're going to go up against an Oklahoma team or an Alabama team, and they're going to get trounced. So.
Hey! I'll catch you on that. I remember you said that.
Okay. You got money? You put any money down on anything?
Hey, I'll put some. Hey, baby, I only bet on the Cowboys. You know me.
You doing a Jerry Jones, saying Cowboys going to make the playoffs by winning the division?
No, we're not going anywhere this year. We're not going anywhere. I don't think nobody in the NFC East is going anywhere.
Oh man, but someone has to win the division, right? Like Redskins are going to win it by default, you know, because there's no other team that wants to win it. Or can win it.
That division will only have won 6 games.
Yeah. Think about that. Think about that record. 6-10. Division champs. You know?
Yeah, and the Redskins are going to be proud of it.
You know? And the Redskins, what I hate, they go around talking like, they're the greatest thing right now. I'm like, you guys are 5-6. You guys are 5-6 and haven't done shit. You're back. You're winning the division by default because the division sucks.
I'm going to tear up. I'm literally going to tear up if I see another Redskin playoff thought.
Man, that'll make me sick to my stomach. But you know what? Give them the division, give them a playoff game, and they're going to get trounced by whoever they play. Because they're not that good.
Wait a minute. I throw up right now. Hey, that's enough Redskins. Hey, listen. I got a question for you. I know you're getting short, but I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to lose first? The Carolina Panthers or the Golden State Warriors?
Good question. Carolina. I think they might lose this weekend.
Who do they play?
I don't know. But I think they're they're starting to hit the cruise control mode. We're like, okay, we wrapped up the division.
Who do they play?
I don't know who they play. They play someone. They play Tampa Bay. Play Saints. They play the Falcons.
I thought you said they were going to lose.
But it's tougher to keep winning, especially in December in the NFL, than it is in the month of December in the NBA.
Who's going to beat them?
I don't know who's going to beat them. What's their schedule? Pull up their schedule. I'll tell you who's going to beat them. Get on the Google machine and look up the Panthers' remaining schedule. It's probably going to be one of the NFC South teams if they play the Saints again in the Superdome. I'll call that one.
Good question. I think the hardest game Carolina has left. I'm pulling it up right now.
But they're not going to go undefeated. Did you watch that ending on Thursday night? Green Bay Detroit.
It was incredible.
That was a robbery. What is the NFL doing, man, with such bad officiating? They had a free play. No time on the clock. Give it to Aaron Rodgers one more time. Why not? Let's see if he can win it.
Okay. They play next, the Saints, New Orleans.
Where?
That's this Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Superdome?
In the Dome.
I call it right now. Saints will beat them.
Nah.
Who's after the Saints? Yeah, because Saints have no defense. And Saints can score a bunch of points, But that's their game plan. Score a bunch of points and see if the other team can keep up. Carolina has a stout defense, and they'll shut down Drew Brees.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So I don't
Brees
think
will be like, he'll be nothing to them.
no, Saints ain't gonna beat them. Saints, they have no defense. If the Skins can hang 45 on them, what does that say? And the Carolina whooped up on the Redskins.
The toughest game that's gonna come up.
Matty Ice against Atlanta.
No. Carolina's toughest game that looks like, I'm sure they're circling it on their schedule, will be December the 20th in New York City.
New York City against who? The Gents?
The Giants.
The New York Football Giants. You think Eli and them will beat them? You know
Yes.
what? They just might, because the Giants, they're notorious for being spoilers.
Yes.
But that team is such a mess right now. The coaching staff's a mess. The team's a mess. They lost to the Redskins.
Those fans are going to be up for that game.
They might. I mean, if they have nothing to play for on December 20th, except being, spoilers for Carolina, and if Carolina has everything wrapped up by then, division, home field advantage, they might rest their starters. If Carolina decides, we don't need a perfect season, we got everything locked up. So I can probably see that as a trap game where the Giants will just win it. Now, if Carolina comes out and plays, if Cam Newton's playing all fourth quarters, then it'll be a true upset if the Giants win.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I can see it happening.
That's the only team that looks like they can, because everybody else is.
Everyone else is like Falcons, Tampa Bay, Saints, and
yeah, that's it.
yeah. All right, I got a bunch of games to watch tomorrow, D, and I'm super excited. The wife's gonna go out. She's gonna go do her thing. I'm gonna just be at home chilling, watching games all day.
I'll be here, buddy.
Yeah. All right. I'm calling it right now. UNC gonna bust out Clemson tomorrow. Gonna happen. And don't forget, my Florida Gators. Don't be surprised if you see an upset. My Florida Gators beating Alabama. It could happen.
We'll see, Quaz. We'll see.
Yes, we will, my man. Yes, we will. All right. Stay safe. I'll see you next time. This is...
That is an upset over the Redskins. I'm calling that one.
I'm calling that one, too. Absolutely. Why not? Redskins aren't that good.
No,
They're not. Back up into the... They're gonna trip into the division. They're not even gonna back up into it. They're gonna trip into it. If I was the Redskins and I win the division on a 6-10 record, I'd be like, I don't want it. I didn't deserve it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like 6-10.
They're gonna wear it proudly.
Yeah, because they haven't won shit. And I mean, aside from that one, asterisk year with RG3 going crazy, they haven't done shit in like 15, 20 years. Yeah. Anyways, this is the Quazemoto Show. It's your boy Quaz, for my boy D, riding shotgun. Stay safe. Peace. Look for us on YouTube, Quazemoto Show. Email us, quazemotoshow@gmail.com. D, be safe. I'll see you next time, buddy.
See you next time, baby.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Oop. Wait a minute. I almost forgot my music. How can we exit the show without the music? There we go. I feel better now.
There you go.
Peace, my man.